I'm Vanessa Canby, and in this video I'm going to be interviewing Brent owusu-amofah, and he is the CEO of Appolonia City, a masterminded development in Ghana. If you are interested in one of these properties or lands, then do head over to Seso Global's website, which is in the description below, and you can just check that out at the end.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Vanessa. So my name is Brent owusu-amofah, and I'm the CEO for Appolonia City. So you're all welcome, and I'm so happy to have you here as well.
What is the idea behind Appolonia City, and what is it for people that don't know out there?
It is the largest urban development, currently in Ghana. It's a mixed-use development just on the outskirts of Accra, where we are developing a community for 100,000 plus people. The whole idea is to have a live, work, and play environment. As Ghanaians, I believe we've all experienced the bottlenecks and the traffic and the congestion in Accra. Every morning as people move from their homes to their workplaces, and likewise once they close from their workplaces and back home. So the whole idea is to create a new community on the outskirts of Accra, where people can have a live, work, and play environment. And in future, when it's all said and done, we're trying to look at a situation whereby people do not have to commute those long distances. Everything will be within this community. So we're not just a residential developer, as sometimes people believe we are. We are building an entirely new community which will have spaces for commercial activity, spaces for recreational, schools. And I just finished a meeting with the school operator, a light industrial park, and basically businesses can move here as well and have all aspects of the uses that are required for a thriving community. So in a nutshell, that is what Appolonia City is.
So it's obviously a huge undertaking and a really exciting development that you are doing there. What made you decide to do that, and what were you doing beforehand? Are you born and raised in Ghana? Have you ever spent any time, outside of the country, and have you seen how other cities have worked? What made you want to do that in Ghana?
I moved to Ghana 10 years ago. I used to live in the UK. I lived in Manchester for quite a bit. I studied in the UK. Then I came back. Previously, my career has always been in investment banking. So I joined a company called Renaissance Group at the time, as part of the investment banking team. And over time the business sort of grew, metamorphosized, and we started there's a new subsidiary called Rendeavour that was formed, and Rendeavour started these urban developments across Africa. So we don't have just a project in Ghana. We basically have 7 projects across sub-Saharan Africa. We have presence in Kenya, which is our flagship project, again, fully financed by Rendeavour. We have 2 projects in Nigeria as well, another project in Zambia, DRC, and Ghana. So I basically look after the Ghana projects. We have a similar size project in Accra, which hasn't started yet. It's more long-term, but like similar to what we have in Appolonia. We basically acquired the land, about approximately 2,400 acres. And the idea is to replicate, these cities or these community development successfully across all our markets. So it is very exciting. As I said, I previously used to be an investment banker, but I find this more fulfilling. As you say, it's tangible. What we are developing is actually tangible. If you came to Appolonia 3 or 4 years ago, it was basically bare land and bush. But we've seen it grow, we've seen it evolve, and for me, that's what gives me that fulfillment, that we are actually living some form of legacy. And it's not just also driven by commercial considerations, but we're helping to address and solve quite a number of issues in Africa, not just Ghana, but if you look across sub-Saharan Africa, lack of planning, poor infrastructure, housing deficit, all of these are issues that cuts across all of these markets. And so, for us, the objective is to try and address all of those these issues as well. Because as you all know, governments alone do not have the capacity to address the infrastructure deficit and the housing deficit. So we see this as our own way of, contributing in our own way to address a serious issue that is across Africa as we know it.
Yeah, and I definitely think even things like drainage, electricity, water, are those things that when you buy a place in Appolonia City or like a commercial area or land, does that come with the development?
Very good question, Vanessa. In fact, that is our biggest selling point, because as I was saying again, if I take Ghana specifically, apart from Tema, which was planned properly in the early 60s by, our first president, Dr. Cobbie, most places in Accra do not have, proper infrastructure in place. Effectively, what people do is they buy land. In most instances, you have to buy your own electricity poles. Most instances, you have to sink your own borehole. And, if you're lucky, 10, 20 years later, the government comes in, and tar the roads in your area. And that is not the way development should be done. Okay, so that is the core of our biggest selling point in our business model. We go in and acquire huge piece of land, virgin land, and then spend, quite a significant amount of money in the infrastructure by providing, all the water, the power, ICT, roads, and drainage, as you probably would have seen when you came into Appolonia. So we will typically spend about $250 million in the core infrastructure per project, right? To again add value, and then also plan for what we also call social infrastructure, which is why in all our developments we have the schools. We've earmarked places for clinics, earmarked places for a police station, a fire station, proper bus stops and what have you. Almost similar to what you would have, in a developed country. A lot of Ghanaians travel. We like what we see when we travel. So we're basically not doing anything new. It's essentially, replicating what we see in some of these advanced countries we often like to visit.
Will there be green spaces? So one thing that I notice in Accra is, there's a bit of a lack of green space left to just, be for nature. So will there be green spaces incorporated?
Very, very good observation. I say Accra, I call Accra a concrete jungle. We're very particular about green, so about 30% of the entire development has been earmarked for green open spaces. So you have, parks, a lot of open areas and common areas which will be green. And we specifically designed the development for that. We did use, in our planning, most of our planning stage, we use a firm called Seso, very renowned, American master planning firm, internationally recognized. And if you're working with firms such as these, they will always make sure that an adequate amount of the developmental land, is earmarked towards green. So that's the one. It adds value to your own development, but it does have, a lot of additional benefits. Some tangible, some almost intangible. But as you said, everybody loves, green areas. It's very calming. It's very nice when you're driving home and you see all of these greens. Aside that, it even helps with drainage. People don't realize that a lot of the flooding that happens in Accra simply because it is a concrete jungle. There are no greens that allow water to seep, so everything goes into the drains. The drains are not planned properly. Drains are small. They get clogged up and it causes flooding. So, greens have so many benefits. We've analyzed it over the years, and we've implemented a lot of those learnings into our development. I'll give you a typical example. We've GPS all the trees in Appolonia. I can't remember, but we've GPS all the major trees in Appolonia, and we've done our developments around it. So we have, for instance, very strict obligations on contractors who develop on our site. If you cut down a tree, you will have to plant, 15 trees by just cutting down one tree. So these are all things that we intend to enforce very, very strictly as part of our development.
Yeah, no, that's so great to hear, because even for kids, I've got kids, it's nice for them to be able to go to the park. So moving on to how it's going to look and feel, what sort of retail, commercial, enterprises have already decided to move into Appolonia City?
So we started off with the residential aspects of the development. To date, we've sold over 500 residential plots and individuals are building. We've done our own developments. There's a development called the Oxford. We did a partnership with Ghana Home Loans called Biju Homes, and a few and the news as well. So altogether, we have about 300 homes which are up and coming. We've currently got a number of residents here on site as well. So that for us was the natural first step before we could start attracting the retail. So you always have this sort of chicken and egg approach where the retailers want to come back. It's like, where are our customers? So once we build that critical mass, we then started, we launched our light industrial park, in an effort to also attract businesses into the area. So currently as we speak, Main One, one of the largest IT service providers in the country, are building a tier 3 data center in the industrial park. This company called Nexet, which also building within the industrial park, Indo-Ghana. Altogether, again, I have about 5 companies that are up and running, or that will be up and running in the coming months. And so that has made the retail offering, very exciting. We have recently, signed a deal with a South African group to develop a commercial office space and retail within the development. So we expect construction to start by Q1 next year, and hopefully Q1 2022 we'll have our first retail clients. We've spoken to a number of them that are interested. Unfortunately, bound by NDAs, I'm unable to go into specifics, but there are quite a number of. There is a supermarket that will be coming up, small cafe, and a pharmacy to start off with. But we've again, the development is if you're developing a community for over 100,000 people, we will need a lot more retail. We will need a lot more office space. And so we made a location for that. There are quite a number of discussions that are ongoing, but as I said, most of these also rely on the residents that we have and the uptake. So we are sort of facing these things gradually. We are about 4 years into our first phase. This is a 20-year development. Vanessa, if I'm being honest, it's going to take some time. But when it's all said and done, as I said, we will expect to see a whole proper integrated community with a lot of fancy shops, restaurants, schools, commercial facilities, offices, and what have you. Very similar to what you would see in a very thriving community for over 100,000 people.
So why is Appolonia City great for diasporans seeking to relocate in Ghana?
I think it is the only choice for diasporans seeking to relocate in Ghana. Because again, if you look at what I said, we all know the challenges that diasporans have. Most diasporans aspire to come back home at some point in their lives, but we all know the stories of buying land in some areas, from unscrupulous buyers. So a lot of unsuspecting diasporans have had negative should I say experience in terms of buying these lands. If you add the fact that infrastructure in most of these places are non-existent, and security as well. In Appolonia, for me, it's the place of choice for many diasporans. I've already mentioned the world-class infrastructure that we are putting in place. One of the things that are very important for diasporans as well is the urban management. So we've got security. Diasporans are very particular about their security. We've got security within the community. We've got a lot of greens, as we've said, reliable infrastructure, reliable power. We built our own substation. The last thing diasporans want, is to come down and dumso, which we all know. So reliable power for them is extremely important. We factor that reliable water is extremely important. Because people, I mean, I've lived in diaspora before, as I said, I came back 10 years ago. You want to come and have that same quality, lifestyle that you are used to. You don't want to wake up and have to turn on a generator. You don't have to wake up and, have to sink a borehole. Or you just want to you turn on your tap and you want to see tap flowing, put on the lights, you just want the lights to come on and not have to deal with all of that stress. So I do believe that Appolonia is definitely the destination of choice for diasporas. And good thing is we've got products for all pockets as well. We know we've got different types of diasporans doing all sorts of jobs. So we've got products that start from as low as about $5,000, all the way to, 100, 200,000, you call it. We've got a very nice product mix that works well for, all diasporans that are looking to acquire some property and have some footprints back home.
So what sort of thing can you get for $5,000?
$5,000, you would get a 70 by 40 piece of land in Walla Park, a new product that we launched recently. Again, when we launched this, we had diasporas in mind because we did a lot of research. We had quite a number of inquiries, but the price point was a little bit prohibitive for some of these clients. So we then decided to come up with these products, which we think works very well. So for a 70 by 40, you will get a nice piece of plot, within Appolonia City for that. And we've got a number of designs that they can pick from, or you can also engage us to help with the building of the units. So that they do not. One of the things that diasporans don't have is the time, to be able to project manage, these properties. So we put in place, a system that allows them to buy a piece of land, and then also for them to be able to build by picking one of our designs or building the designs of their choice.
How much basically is different plots of land and houses? I went to the Oxford and I also went to Bijou Homes. So I'll definitely have the video of that up and I'll put a link up here for anyone that wants to watch that. So if you can let us know the sort of prices of places, because it is affordable from what I saw.
It is very affordable, Vanessa. As I said, we have, very, very wide range of products for every pocket. So like I said, with as little as $5,000, you can get your own piece of land in Walla Park. If you're looking for affordable homes, in Bijou Homes starts from $50,000 and upwards for, from a 1-bed, 2-bed, 3-bed. If you look for something a little bit, if you want to scale up a little bit, you can buy into our Oxford development. That's what we start from about 80,000 all the way to about 150, 160. So we've designed, our product mix such that there is the product for all sort of pockets and price ranges. We are very flexible with plot sizes, as I said, and because of that, we have designs that can literally fit on, all the plots that we have. So what I usually like to say is that we won't just sell you a plot or a home and go away, but we're very happy to sit down with you and for our team to assist you in educating you in terms of what product you can put on the plot. Because the Ghanaians are used to buying very big plots, right? But I think that we certainly should be moving away. If you're living in a community such as Appolonia, you don't necessarily need, I would say you don't need a very, very big plot. You've got a small plot because common areas have also been planned such that there are greens, there are schools, there are proper parks. We are going to put in clubhouses in all of these development, for instance. And so if you've got things like that, play areas for your children, you don't necessarily need a very, very big plot. We're trying to encourage community, living. So as a result of that, we've designed and we have various plot configurations for every budget.
And let's say I wanted to buy a plot of land, what is the lease agreement and is there a maintenance fee every month?
Yeah, so we have what we call service charges. It starts from 200 cedis a month. And 200 cedis basically covers security. As I said, we do provide security within the neighborhood. It covers street lights. We've got solar street lights, so that requires some maintenance over time. Landscaping, basically keeping the environment clean, waste management, and a myriad of other services that that we provide within the community. So that starts from about 200 cities, which is very competitive in the market. If you compare to most of these other developments and what we're used to.
Yeah, I mean, other places that I've been have been charging like $200 a month. So 200 cedis is really, really good. If I wanted to, buy that plot of land, do I have to pay all up front, or is there payment plans where I can pay it over a certain amount of time?
But as we like clients who like to pay all up front, but yeah, we also have very flexible payment plans, in place, up to, in some instances, we can offer up to 3 years on Wallapa. But what I usually like to say is that we take some of these on a case by case basis, but our typical payment plan is over 12 months. However, if clients want an extended payment plan, again, we're always more than happy to sit down with them to see how best we can structure a payment plan that is flexible for their budget.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do check out part 1, which is me touring around the $50,000 homes. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you are interested in Appolonia City, all the details will be in the description below. Thanks very much. See you soon.